Aloha. You see this? Do you see this? Full winter garb in the month of September. I, who so proudly used to declare that September was always nice in Ireland, actually October and September, often the Indian summer would come because often the summer would not come. Anyway, get over that. So this morning I woke up and I wonder, even though it's a victory of sorts, it makes me wonder, what's the catch, The other side of this is, I haven't even gotten started and I'm already going on to point C. Anyway, I've been going to bed and then turning off the phone and then an answer to a question that I had had during the day would come, of the many questions. And I would be like, very tempting to just get up, turn on the phone again and quickly jot it down. Or indeed, actually, now that I'm awake and can think properly, or in 3D ways anyway, I could have just gotten up and taken a pen to paper. But no, I just trusted. No, that's not true. I feared that I would forget. So I would say, okay, this thing. I would sit up and kind of say it out loud. Anyway, I don't know. This morning was the second morning that I woke up and those concepts and whatever the idea was or the solution that had come to me as I was dropping off was still with me in the morning. So as I was beginning to say, it's a victory of sorts, but it also makes me think and wonder, well, was my sleep of that great quality if I managed to retain the thing that I went to bed with? Anyway, I'm not going to try to dissect that, but I am grateful. And what I went to bed with last night was I was out in the city introducing my new workshop. And the workshop is called, it's basically a workshop in 2 discs. It was a fun idea of the workshop that I really would like to hold around trauma-informed embodied co-regulation. So there's elements of Tantra, there's elements of trauma processing, and there's a lot of elements of what is emergent, meaning that which lives in the field, that which I cannot predict or plan for, really. Well, I can kind of, do my due diligence so that I'm ready to respond to what does show up in the field. That is the cohort of participants in any given workshop. What am I saying? Let me pause. Right, so this was it. It was just this mechanism by which, we crave or seek or are interested in change, and especially having the space to look at patterns and cycles that don't seem to be serving us. For example, procrastination. For example, taking care of oneself physically, keeping up with exercise, intentions, or even going out for walks, or even going to bed early, or even, how we eat. Is it based on emotional eating, or is it functionally? I think there's a big minority that are able to just, eat to live. I think the majority of us, for lots of reasons, positive and negative, I suppose, we've become more interested in food. Food has become a hobby. There's such a term as like a foodie. Are you a foodie? Meaning you're into food, making it, eating it. I mean, as human beings, generally speaking, the majority of us are, foodies because we basically do consume food. So anyway, and as I went to bed, I thought, of course, about waking up in bed. And I thought about the way I meet my mornings. And it just came to me that, well, at that moment, it seemed like that was a golden key. I know in my waking life that, sure, there's many keys. There's silver keys, there's copper keys, there's amethyst keys, all sorts of keys. But at that moment, it was the mechanism of interruption. I'll explain more about that in a later video. Or maybe I have already. But so that's what I dived into this morning, interrupting the usual rhythm, the usual pace and procedure of, a time unit. So my mornings are usually packed with activities, and depending on how much work I got done the night before, been working on editing a video, anyway, blah de blah, and endless list of things I could share with you. And as a result, however, as I go on with my story, when I followed through with my own inspiration and golden solution, I found myself again, for too long, I feel, not being a part of, this kingdom all around us. And it really just feeling today, not that this is the only day, but it really felt like this is all I need. I really feel like such a queen of wisdom when I'm out in nature. Like, I have all the answers. Not only that I possess them, but that I am them. I can really embody this peace and, alignment or resonance with all of life. Pretty good, hey? And then I played with a new toy that I have stumbled into just a couple of days ago. With my women's community in Sacred Economy, we were introduced to an idea of the infinity loop. And this is a way of, if you know of it already, excuse me as I kind of bungled the description of it, it's a way of really embodying with your body, moving through a form in sacred geometry, and also connecting the invisible with the visible. And if nothing else, it's a mindful meditation practice in movement and in manifestation. So I posed these questions to the infinity this morning. I'd already done it the day before or the day before that for 22 minutes. And today I had a small question about the workshop offering. And after that had finished, I just felt so nourished, just so content and at peace, I suppose. And I felt like, well, I hope I'm not being greedy, but I feel like there's more to do. And I had only put it on a little timer for 3 minutes. And of course, kicking in my head immediately afterwards was like, 3 minutes? You're only dedicating 3 minutes to this important subject? And again, this response came, listen to the donkey. That of, it's not a quantity thing. And hey, if a solution comes in 3 minutes, am I going to knock that? Or am I going to embrace that and say, thank you very much, and be grateful for it and go on to the next? And my attention on the next topic was, funny, it seemed to encompass everything in my life. I laughed as I set an alarm for 8 minutes this time. And I thought, yeah, sure, just everything major in my life, right? And again, this voice coming back as like, yeah, because are we going to limit ourselves to are we going to hold these things like a carrot as bait that, oh, these are holy grails that I have imperfections in me and they'll never get solved, surely not in some funky, weird, little exercise for 8 minutes or 3 minutes or 22 minutes, whatever. And I heard that voice and just acknowledging, yeah, there's that mind skepticism that anything of value or worth can be brief and not have to last forever. Time will tell, right? So I just wanted to share that embarking in these 8 minutes then, a little while ago back there, I was so aware that this is the element that has kept me from realizing it's like a little stepping stone to knowing, realizing, manifesting my vision and dreams. So in this case, of regularly, consistently holding spaces for groups again. Not just working in the one-to-one model. I've been in labor for quite some time with pivoting back to the group model. And in the physical 3D world, yesterday I had confirmed like 3 or 4 different venues to hold my workshop next week. And yes, that's a victory. So Cogargahis, Mahain, well done, Pen. But still, there's questions. It's like, oh, well, yeah, great. Now you have done the thing. And what's it going to be like? Are you going to show up? Meaning in all ways of that term. Am I going to show up physically on time? Am I going to show up emotionally stable? Blah, blah, blah. All the questions my inner judge poses to me, which is fair enough. And in the busyness of the evening last night, because, a lot got done yesterday, making all those happen. And a part of me recognizing that, hey, you should be happy and proud. Like, you made this happen. You got all these places together. Now they're all happening. And I realized as I went to bed, yeah, now I also have to continue doing the legwork. Telling other people about it. Inviting people that are maybe not on social media or on whatever. Today, it's not just like I'll just phone you or knock on your door or write a note. It's like a million different platforms where I might be able to reach somebody. So going to bed with that, and yet not following up with the steps that I know I need to take, feeling like, yeah, there's a fear of if I don't follow up with the things that I know I should be doing, then I'll lose the opportunity, meaning I didn't do the good job fully. And it felt like my body feels like it's time for bed. It was, 11 p.m. So it was a full day. So I chose to listen to my body. And not before, I had also in the course of the evening stumbled on, this is getting a bit longer now, but I'm going to try to just close it up with everything that's relevant. All the little side actors and supporting roles in this story. And it was something because I have been laboring with the workshop. Involves me playing a few of my songs, and the songs are, well, let's say all songs contain within them a theme, of joy, of beauty, of sadness, of loss, whatever it is. And I realized a couple of themes that I know are real and very big for me in my life. I didn't feel like they were represented in the songs that I currently sing, right? So, yeah, it almost led me down a rabbit hole. And also, the fact is, I wasn't even thinking so much about my workshop as I was just getting back to editing my video, which was nothing to do with my workshop, or so I thought, or so I think even. It was for a video for my offering on on Trad Tuesday, where a traditional song from any culture is, I think I'll take this hat off now that we feel a bit warmer, I share with, the good people on the channel of Penelope. And I've been playing around with the idea of, well, since I am aspiring to be, regularly active on the other channels, like even the mainstream ones, which I had, gotten out of a few years ago, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, then was I also going to do it with my Telegram channel offerings, meaning this week's Trad Tuesday, and that's where the video began. That probably just didn't make any sense to you. But anyway, suffice to say, with my traditional song offering this Tuesday, I, just for a notion, began to make a video on it. So that's what I was editing all yesterday, and all yesterday. And I had gone to bed with a small element of feeling like there's a couple of missing pieces. Like it's ready to go, except I feel like it could be better. If I'm really going to offer this, how can it be better? And just a small detail, but in my knowledge of Irish history and events on this island, I have, big holes for certain things that I just haven't, for whatever reason, gotten into or become knowledgeable in. And one of them just became a huge kind of presence for the theme of shame. And a dear friend of mine had been very interested, and she'd done a lot of research, and she was very vocal about this. And I think in a way her death, she died by suicide, was sort of, it was linked by some to this element perhaps of shame. So I reached out to begin to see if this thread was a fruitful one, and then I went to bed. And then came the piece after I turned off the phone and on all the devices actually, about interruption. And so let me lead you back into today. So I woke up and interruption was still there. I was like, great, okay, so it's there. And then it was like following up on it myself. Okay, so here I am interrupting, and then feeling like nature has all that I require, has all the wisdom, all the teachings. And I watched the birds for a long time flying around. Well, I walked over to the rugby, didn't I? I walked over to the rugby clubhouse and AstroTurf and just watched the birds enjoying the heat for a long time, like no different than what I was doing. And when I decided, okay, I'm going to interrupt my walk now to do this infinity loop. I knew I wanted to do it today again. And like I said, I did it for 3 minutes. And then when I decided to tackle it again, and this time for just 8 minutes, that's not a lot compared to 22 minutes, let me tell you. And it was so beautiful being out in nature. And of course, cars started rocking up to the behind the rugby clubhouse. There is a sweet little shebeen, a little house, or not house, but anyway, a structure, and it has Scariff Show Society over it. So every year, Scariff, the town that I live in, has a little agriculturally based show, So I guess that's their little clubhouse, and they just had their show quite recently. So I guess they were having a, decompression meeting, or anyway, who knows what they were doing? Maybe they were dealing drugs. Just kidding. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, they were meeting there. So I was aware on my back that they might be looking at this, strange one walking in this figure of infinity around these two stumps of rushes, which is what I chose to mark out this infinity loop. This infinity loop, I will link you to the person who introduced it to me, and she describes it. It's an easy, free, amazing, magical, sacred geometrical exercise, and you'll take it from there. So anyway, as I was doing my infinity loop, the piece kind of like fell into my knowing. So something downloaded, which was another of the themes that I felt I'm lacking in the songs that I'm currently singing. It was shame and it was fear. And the second one showed up, and in a way it was inviting me to a dance, or maybe even, a cuddle or an embrace with fear. And I know that sounds all cliched and it sounds very cheesy out in the bright light of day, but it made sense to me, and not without the little voice again saying, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's the answer, right? Sure. And it was again acknowledging, there's skepticism and cynicism and judgment and all the rest, but thank you. And so when that completed, it really felt like, what? Do I need to go for a walk? I actually feel like I've walked, and I've walked for at least 11 minutes in infinity. So my job now is really to do nothing else but go home and write those couple of songs. Not only that, but one of I seek her out, and I want to make her mine. But she's a wonderful songwriting teacher, and I was to be on her retreat this year as she came over from Nashville to the UK, but just didn't have the dosh, lads. So be crowdfunding for that or something. for next year, because I figured, you know what, it's all fine and well to see this woman in UK, but I mean, she's coming from Nashville. I want to go to Nashville. What prevents me? Fear that, like, are you kidding? Like, who am I to go to Nashville? I don't even have money to pay the fucking electric, whatever. Anyway, TMI. But yeah, again, so it was that kind of thinking, and not just to kind of magically make it all go away, but to say, you know what, let's be open. And like, yeah, I can't be on the retreat this year. And actually, is it happening right now? I think her retreat is happening the 16th to the 20th of September. So yeah, that retreat that I wanted to be on so much, I applied, I got a place, I got a congratulation letter, I got some feedback on the songs that I applied with, and of course, just being in touch with her personally was wonderful, as well as her admin team. But shout out to Miles. But yeah, I just was like, look, don't have the dosh to really pull it off. It's not just like the money for the retreat. It's like, well, okay, food will be taken care of, but it's also travel, like plane ticket and bus to get to the plane. Anyway, all the things. So I'm really grateful. That door has closed for now, and I'm going to look to going to Nashville next year. I think it's May 2025 that she's offering a week long, or 2 weeks even, in Nashville. And she gave a prompt. She threw it down or at least I saw it last night. It was very cute. She played a couple of chords. She gave us a chord progression, and I can't believe she was giving us such a kind of an open-ended, kind of simple little exercise invitation. She was like, I wonder what kind of a song you would make with this chord progression. It was, if I remember correctly, it was D major, A minor, and then it was C major and G major. So D, A minor, G, C, and then G. I didn't even play it. I kind of picked up my guitar, but I don't know. I got, last night I just closed things down early and went to bed instead. And this morning I felt like, before I left on this walk, of which I'm still on right now, 22 minutes later, speaking to you, I was excited. I thought, oh, I'm going to try that today. I'm going to try to see if something happens if I play those chords and start vocalizing and seeing what happens. But no, I interrupted that process because I knew what would happen. I would be there for hours playing in the world of music as I do. And I'm not alone, I know. Meet you guys all there too. But I went out on the walk in nature. And at the end of those little stroll into the infinity, I realized I just have to go home, write 2 songs, one of which there is, it's in kit form. Try these chords. See, I mean, yeah, of course, my normal 3D ego is like, well, you don't know what's going to come out. It might be shite. It probably will be. But, the other part of me, the eternal, patient, kind, loving, knowledgeable, experienced, unashamed me knows that, you know what? These are all gifts, these invitations. Okay, so somebody's actually given you chords that you don't have to decide in this bottomless pit of chord combinations you could explore and play with. Sure, we always have that question whenever we write a song. But yeah, in this case, it's quite fun. I've been given a little invitation. I'm always excited when I'm invited to do things or be in different spaces. So of course I'm going to take it. And then the other song, yeah, the fear. How will the fear manifest? I don't know. There's no chord progression been given to that. Or perhaps the fear song will contain that chord progression. I was going to say chord progression. So things are getting crazy if I'm saying things like that. Anyway, I wanted to share how simple the experience of being alive can be and how much it can feel like it's in the flow. Just like I'm just walking around, a symbol, I'm just walking around a drawing. I'm just a part of somebody's drawing, the cosmic drawing, putting together events that I am inspired and excited and enlivened by, that I want to share with others. And as a bonus, at the end of it, we usually feel more grounded, more connected to each other, more connected to ourselves. Insights are popping And at the moment, actually, all the workshops that I'm offering, they're all, I haven't put a price on these. They're all just for definitely, by donation or free. Like I'm going to be doing one in the library on Saturday morning. The others might be more in the evening. But yeah, so there you go. So for all the skeptics watching now or another time, wait, hold on till I beam even more love into this. I love you. And if you think that nothing comes without strings, or really free, well, come along on Saturday and see. And sure, yeah, I'd love it if you felt like you wanted to work with me more and then wanted to throw money or other things at me that you feel are justifiably and joyously recompensable for the experience you receive with me. But the experience right now, the invitation to the doorway is free and absolutely without any strings and with an open heart, just to see what is there. Let's see what we can create together and what kind of a portal awaits us as we enter together. Kind of last minute, I'm just telling you, well, it's just about over a week in time away, but a voice is going, so it must be time for me to go as well. So let's see what happens with these new song babies about to come today. I see a figure behind me. Didn't see them before. Okay, better keep walking.